Hello, welcome to Weather on the Go. In this video, I will be talking to you about severe weather chances on Saturday, March 5th across the middle of the country. The Storm Prediction Center has already outlined eastern Iowa and central Iowa into northern Missouri and western Illinois, perhaps even southwest Wisconsin, for a 15% or slight risk for severe weather here on their Day 4 outlook. So let's dive right in. The GFS here at midday shows a storm system developing here into western Kansas, a 995 millibar low, and it will be deepening and pushing northeast as it does on Saturday. And this could deepen as far as a 990, perhaps 991 millibar low as it travels from western Kansas through west central Iowa toward La Crosse, Wisconsin and northwest Wisconsin. And ahead of that, there will be a lot of warm, moist air available, which will be indicating temperatures rising, into the 60s, low 70s, dew points rising into the 50s, low 60s. So a lot of warm, moist air, which will create some instability for these areas. Now, if you look here at the Canadian model, same kind of theme here. You can see the storm system developing here into western Kansas. However, it's a little weaker with the storm, but it does show pretty much the same zone where it develops and moves western and northwest Kansas and moves up toward La Crosse, Wisconsin, producing maybe some stronger thunderstorms here in central eastern Iowa and to portions here of Illinois and to northeast Missouri. Kind of the same zone the Storm Prediction Center's Day 4 outlook for severe weather right now. So I want to look here at the GFS real quick here for the temperatures on Saturday. Temperatures will be warming well into the 60s, in fact, maybe even into the 70s for some locations here as far north, as northern Missouri, southern Iowa, central Illinois. We could be touching 60, maybe up close to Madison, Wisconsin. So this is a powerhouse storm system that we'll be watching. And then here on the Canadian model, as we switch over the temperature profiles, you can see same kind of theme, temperatures will be warming up here into the middle and upper 60s, a little more robust with the temperatures on this model versus the GFS. However, the GFS is rather similar, at least with the location of the low, so just a little more robust on this model here with the temperatures, which could mean that more sunshine could be breaking out on this model versus the GFS, so we'll watch that, which also could increase the instability on Saturday as well. Now, I want to show you another model. This is the GEM, and this one is kind of a convective allowing model. I know this is a little far out, but this one is showing maybe some stronger thunderstorms developing here around late afternoon on Saturday across central Iowa, initiating anywhere from, Sioux City, Mason City, down through Des Moines, Iowa, and towards Kansas City, Missouri. And these storms will be racing east-northeastward. As they do, they could be producing damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, some large hail up to quarter, maybe even $half size, and perhaps even an isolated tornado embedded with this line of storms as it pushes east across eastern Iowa, as it picks up a little bit better dynamics here as it pushes across that region. So that's a little far out for this model, but it is depicting some stronger thunderstorm development. Now, I want to show you the temperatures on this model. Interesting here how on the convective allowing models versus the global models like the GFS or the Canadian or even the European model, that the GEM is showing a more robust temperature profile, even pushing temperatures near 70 for 80 degrees even into southeastern Iowa, mid 70s for areas like Peoria, maybe touching 70 like Dubuque, Iowa, Madison, Wisconsin, Chicago in the low 70s. Now, if this were to pan out, it would be a classic severe weather setup for this area for March, and that would produce the potential for some very gusty thunderstorms. So we'll have to watch this model very carefully in the next few runs through the next couple of days. Let's go back to the GFS. Regarding the dew points temperatures with this storm system, like I said, dew points will be rising into the low 50s, mid 50s, perhaps, as far north here as southern Wisconsin, and that will be plenty of juice for these thunderstorms to potentially work with. And if they can tap into the surface here, these storms could become surface rooted. They could become severe enough to produce a tornado or two, like I said, especially with these boundary layer dew points being into the lower and middle 50s. So that will have to be monitored as well. And then another thing I want to point out here is the CAPE, which is also known as convective available potential energy. and also known as instability. Now, it's not showing on the GFS a ton of this, but just enough to where you put a lot of wind shear up in this area and just a little bit of instability, and these storms could initiate very quickly and become severe very quickly with the dynamics in place. A lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. Now, let me go to the show you the winds. 850 millibar winds. Now, pretty strong in the atmosphere coming out of the southwest, here just a few thousand feet up here, about 50, 60 miles per hour. So very quick winds there. And then even at the surface, the winds are going to be, out of the west and southwest here at about, 10 to 20. Gusts could be up to 30 miles an hour across the zone from central Iowa, eastern Iowa, north central Illinois. So a lot of wind energy in this atmosphere. The only thing that is precluding any, major severe weather outbreak, at least on this model anyway, is the lack of instability. Like I said, the instability levels aren't going to be very high. If you look on the chart here, 500 to maybe up to 1,000 joules per kilogram, which is just enough to spark some stronger thunderstorms, and maybe one or two of these could become surface rooted enough to produce a tornado or two in an isolated location. So right now, as of now, not looking at a significant severe weather outbreak, but it will need to be monitored in the next couple of days because things may change and evolve a little bit. So this will have to be monitored. And even like I said, on the Canadian model showing temperatures this warm in early March, that does spell a chance of a classic severe weather setup. So don't put it out of the cards that a significant severe weather outbreak could unfold, but I think the chances of that right now, looking at it, is about maybe 10-20% at best. It's not looking very likely at the moment, just what I'm looking at. So another thing I wanted to point out too is the jet stream winds. We'll look at the jet stream here. The Canadian model showing jet stream winds just right over the area and punching right into these storms. So these storms will be moving quickly. So if you have warnings in central Iowa, eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, these storms are going to be probably moving east-northeastward here, probably, I'm guessing, around 40, 50 miles per hour. So they will be fast movers. And I want to give you more of a time frame on these storms. Let's go back to the GFS. And the storms are going to be moving very quickly, but they will be developing, at least on this model, showing around noon on Saturday. Some cloud cover ahead of the storm will be key to how the atmosphere works out with these storms. Now, if we see some sunshine poke out here into eastern Iowa, northeast Missouri, northwest Illinois, that will just increase the instability and load the atmosphere for some even stronger storms than what the models are showing right now. Now, as we move along here, you can see a line of thunderstorms tries to develop here across eastern Iowa, west central Illinois, southwest Wisconsin, maybe down as far south as St. Louis, maybe getting farther south than that, but that will be more of a broken line down that way with more of the stronger dynamics and wind shear a little farther to the north here, closer to the low pressure system. This is around 6 p.m. on Saturday and showing a very strong line of storms here from, La Crosse, Wisconsin, down through Dubuque, Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, the Quad Cities, down through close to St. Louis, maybe just a little north of there. And these storms could be, like I said, moving east-northeast at about 40 to 50 miles an hour, producing winds, in excess of 60 miles per hour, quarter to $half size hail, and maybe even an embedded isolated tornado here if these storms could become surface rooted enough to where these storms could, tap into that boundary layer moisture here and produce a tornado. So that is a very, very possible scenario that could happen here as we head into Saturday. Now, if you have any questions on the severe weather outbreak, I can always answer those here on the YouTube channel here. So, but like I said, the severe weather outbreak is not likely, but it is possible. The models are starting to come into a better agreement, at least on the track. Still some disagreement on, whether the low will pass in western Iowa, will pass in central Iowa, but the general theme here is a line of storms will develop in central Iowa and mature and move eastward at probably, like I said, 40 to 50 miles an hour, producing 60-plus mile-an-hour gusts, quarter to $half size hail, and an isolated tornado. So we'll watch from Des Moines, Iowa, to Dubuque, Iowa, maybe as far north as Madison, Wisconsin, down through Peoria and Kirksville, Missouri, kind of that squarish zone that we're going to be watching, kind of outline the Storm Prediction Center's thinking right now. Now, this outlook that the Storm Prediction Center has very well could be upgraded here in the days to come. Like the day 3 outlook could be upgraded, maybe an enhanced or 30% chance of severe weather, and it could be shifting farther east. I know a shift last night in the overnight models shifted a lot of the storm energy a little farther eastward than the last few runs of the yesterday and the day before. So that is also a trend I've been seeing. But right now here, like I said, Des Moines, Iowa, Dubuque, Iowa, down through the Quad Cities, Kirksville, Missouri, maybe Kansas City getting in on the action early. But I think as this line moves east into eastern Iowa and northwest Illinois, it will become the most mature, and that's when these storms could produce damaging winds, hail, and possibly an isolated tornado. Now, thank you for watching. I will also here tomorrow be outlining the chance for severe weather later into the weekend, into early next week on Sunday and Monday, with another storm system that could drop some heavy rain, some severe weather, and maybe even a snow side. And I will also have a snow side on this storm as we head into possibly tonight or early tomorrow morning regarding the snow impacts on the side of the storm and that time frame.